She was a genius, a visionary sculptor who shaped marble and bronze into raw emotion, a woman ahead of her time, fighting to be recognized in a world that saw her as nothing more than a muse, the rival, and the tragedy. This is the story of Camille Claudel, the woman whose hands crafted masterpieces, but whose name was almost erased from history. It all began in 1864 in a small French town. Even as a child, Camille Claudel wasn't like other girls. While her peers played with dolls, she sculpted figures from the earth beneath her feet. By the time she was a teenager, her talent was undeniable. Her father believed in her, rare for a girl in the 19th century. He sent her to Paris to study in one of the only places that allowed women to sculpt, Académie Colarossi. And it was there that she met the man who would change her life forever, Auguste Rodin, a sculptor already gaining fame, known for his raw, emotional works like The Thinker and The Kiss. When he saw Camille's talent, he was mesmerized. She became his student, his muse, and soon his lover. But this was no ordinary romance. Camille wasn't just another admirer. She was his equal, his competition. In fact, some historians believe that Camille sculpted parts of Rodin's most famous works, but he took the credit. Imagine a young woman already defying the expectations of her time, shaping marble alongside one of the greatest artists in history. And yet, no one spoke her name. For years, Camille stood in Rodin's shadow, but she wanted more. She wanted to be seen. She ended the affair and set out on her own, determined to carve her own name in history. And oh, did she create wonders! Her sculptures were unlike anything seen before, full of passion, movement, life. Works like The Waltz and The Age of Maturity captured raw emotion in stone. Critics called her a genius, but the art world was cruel. A woman sculpting alone? Unheard of. Galleries refused to showcase her work. Commissions dried up, and Rodin, he remained at the top, while she faded into obscurity. Her once supportive family turned against her. Her mother, ashamed of her independence, cut her off. She lived in poverty, her beautiful sculptures gathering dust. Then came the ultimate betrayal. In 1913, Camille's family, fearing she was insane, had her committed to an asylum. For 30 years, she remained there. She begged to be released. She wrote letters. She pleaded. But no one listened. Even as Rodin was honored as one of the greatest sculptors of all time, Camille was left to rot in a hospital room, and in 1943 she died. Forgotten, buried in an unmarked grave, as if she had never existed. But history has a way of correcting its mistakes. Decades later, art lovers rediscovered Camille Claudel. They found her sculptures hidden away, gathering dust. And when the world saw them, they knew. They knew she was more than Rodin's muse, more than a tragic figure. She was a master of her craft. Today, Camille Claudel's sculptures are displayed in museums around the world. In 2017, the Musée Camille Claudel opened in France, dedicated to her genius. Finally, her name is spoken. And so, the question remains, was Camille Claudel a victim of her time, or a woman simply too powerful for the world to accept? What do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you love stories of forgotten legends, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.